Ladies and gentlemen, we'll move on to our next presentation. We turn our attention to women's rugby and our exciting journey to the 2025 Women's Rugby World Cup in England that's currently underway. And he's joining us online, the head coach of the Vodafone Fijiana 15, Ioan Cunningham. He was appointed in February 2025, ladies and gentlemen, brings extensive international women's rugby coaching experience, and we're ever so grateful that he's been able to take some time to send us a presentation today so that we know what he's been working on and their plans. Ladies and gentlemen, we do apologize that we won't be able to send any questions over at this time, but I'm sure you all understand the commitment that's currently underway for him. However, we'll try to make this presentation available to you through the shared drive. With that, I'll hand it over to him. Can you please give him a big round of applause?
Well, good luck to everyone. Hope everyone's well. I'm looking forward to what looks like an outstanding week of collaboration, discussion, sharing knowledge and experiences. It sounds like one that's going to be a great week for everyone. Just wanted to send some points across that Masanathar has asked me to do. Obviously, looking at my learnings, my observations of working with Fijiana 15 and where we're looking to go on our journey. So if you see with this first slide here, first thing we spoke about was just our Fijiana family and looking to grow care amongst the team first and foremost. We have to protect what we're trying to build, and then obviously fight for each other, for our village, for the family and for the country. And if we feel threatened, then we have to attack and defend everything that we are trying to pull together and create as a team. A few things on here, just from a preparation point of view, was first thing I looked at was just getting clarity in our game model, and looking at our principles of the game. So first of all, obviously, it's how do we gain possession, and then once we get it, how do we go forward, and then retain that possession, because if we can hold on to the ball, we can challenge any team in the world with our quality offload game, our physical athletes that can win collisions in the contact area, especially when we carry in open play. So that's something that we look to do. Understanding the demands of the modern game, so those real hard activity cycles of first three steps out of everything. So we try to get acceleration efforts and moving as fast as we can from point A to point B, and introducing a performance week. So it's all about setting up the week to succeed. What does Monday look like? What does Tuesday look like? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, etc. And theming those days to allow our athletes to give them the best chance to perform on a weekend. And growing our understanding of how to win test matches. Test rugby is very different to Super W. It's very different to club rugby. A lot of people don't realise the jump is very, very big. And especially when you play sides that are within the top 10 in the world, the gap is fairly large. So just growing the knowledge of how we win test matches and what are the key things you need to get right to win those matches, really. So just a quick snapshot here from when my first match with the team was Wallaroos back in May. And this was a snapshot of how we basically played the game. So we had 4 entries into the Wallaroos 22 and we had 1 try, and they had 16 entries into our 22 and had 7 tries. So you can see the red box there is just where we played all our rugby, and we needed to play a lot more of our rugby in the green box, because when you play the top sides, territory is massive, because the trends in the game, how referees referee the game. If you can have more rucks in the opposition half, it's probably going to lead to points. So, and obviously the pressure we were under in that match to miss 41 tackles is not good enough for Test rugby. You won't win many games missing that many tackles. So that's another focus area coming off the back of that we try to fix up. And then off the back of that, then, if I move on to the next slide, just growing the players' understanding of pitch zones and what they mean. So obviously the red zone there is more of like an exit zone for us, where it's about being smart with the ball and not overplaying. It's trying to save energy as well, because the more time you spend in that red zone, the more you play. When you get up to blue or green zone, you've wasted a lot of energy which you'll need, because when you get up there, you've got to lift the intensity, you've got to play fast, and you need energy in the legs. So yeah, just trying to introduce a thought process around what we do in different areas, and we're still working towards this as well, and growing our understanding of this, especially in the green zone, where our patience and our brutality needs to improve. Just having that ruthless edge of just really going after sides and being physical and brutal and hitting to hurt people is something that we're still working towards. So building robust athletes moving forward, just for me, is quality double days training. So our players still aren't quite where they need to be to output quality double days. So if we do rugby in the morning and then units and weights in the afternoon, that second session is still very much a challenge for our players to back up, and that comes with time. A lot of elite athletes, especially in rugby, by their third pre-season, they're probably starting to hit a robustness level where they can back up a hard 8 weeks pre-season into a full season, and double days as well, but also trying to increase the players' understanding and knowledge around winning recovery as well. So recovery is really important when we're looking to do double days. More contact conditioning, I think that's an area where we can definitely improve. I think we focus a lot on running conditioning, but possibly don't marry that up with enough contact conditioning, which the modern game demands, and a high quality medical rehab and prehab programs for our players from day one. Being honest, there's a lot of players here in the Rugby World Cup with us now who are carrying a lot of injuries and are held together by tape. So we want our players to peak for pinnacle events, and some of our players are not peaking, they're just hanging on. So when we are pushed to our limits against top sides, players will probably break down. So it's really important we get that programme hand in hand with our S&C teams and our coaches to make sure that we get the player to peak for that cycle or the end of that time for our peak competitions. And then obviously player availability to train. It's still it's getting better with us, but it's something that needs to improve. Players being able to back up days of training, also sort of completing sessions. Like a lot of players are still possibly not fully maximising their sessions, and that becomes with the mindset as well, is that every time you train is an opportunity to get better. And it's really important that players get themselves available to train every day. The next slide, just based on three things from a Fijiana point of view, is the foundations are being laid here and we're building from the ground up. So I look at it as in the triangle there of three things. So the person, player and the athlete. So what type of person do we want first? For me, that's bigger than anything else. Have they got a good work ethic? Are they coachable? Are they robust? Do they seek feedback? Are they team first? Are they accountable for their actions and their behaviours? That's massive for me. Then the player, is she smart? Is she adaptable? Is she a master of her craft? And what's her skill set level like? And then when you come to the athlete, are we physical? Are we robust? Can we repeat high effort? So those areas would be something that I would look at. And build the team around those foundations. The next one then, just the current rugby landscape in the women's space. So if you look at the top 10 in the world there, from USA up to England, and look where we currently are in 14th, I do truly believe we have the potential to break into that top 5 and 6 in the world. We have the rugby athletes to compete, but to develop and to get closer to that area for me is growing players' game understanding, mastering their craft. A lot of players play multiple positions, play a little bit of freestyle rugby, but when we play those top sides, we need a 9 to be a master of a pass and kicking game. We need a hooker to be a master of throwing in and scrummaging. A 10 that can be a master of her craft of distribution, game management, etc. Growing player depth, trying to get 3 players in each position, and then consistency and continuity from performance staff to crop of players or a pool of players that we've got, so we can grow a more meaningful test matches. With respect, Oceania does not prepare us for World Cup. Playing Tonga Samoa, we need to be playing sides that are closer to that top 10 more regularly. Playing USA, Scotland, even Italy, Australia, and even a Black Ferns 15 over the next 4-year cycle would really develop the team. So evolve and grow. So for me, grow players' understanding of how to win test matches, as I said, and just understanding that sometimes possession trumps territory or territory trumps possession is really important. Grow players' knowledge of momentum in matches. So we played Canada yesterday. We had a little purple patch in the second half, and you could see the Canadian sort of game drivers just slowing everything down and killing our momentum. Just really smart, experienced players. And that's something that we need to develop in our players. How to sniff blood as well in opposition and going for the kill. So there's different ways of winning a game. You might go in with a plan, and maybe one part of the plan is working, but that's sniffing the blood, so we go after that area and really go after the jugular of the opposition, and increasing more thinking and scanning sessions for our players. Trying to grow our players' knowledge and understanding of calling and reacting to the picture rather than calling a play. Effective communication, so action words, short, sharp words, being comfortable in communicating really well and listening really well, and creating those scenarios in training where players can get better at this really. So build for the future. Consistency is key for me. Like I said, just trying to get consistency in performance staff, the language we use. We're building a foundation in our culture, environment, the way we want to play. So that'll be really key. Coaching the principles of our game. So knowing the group of athletes we've got, but also what, for example, defence principle for Fijiana. What is it? So do we want to be an aggressive defensive team that gets the ball back? Well, everything that we do underpins that to allow us to have that defence principle. It's based on sort of why, what, how. Same thing for me would be great to create a top 35, 40 player group. That we know these are our elite 40, our top 40 players in Fiji, with attachment of 10 development players. So these 40 players, we put investment into this group over the next 4 years. That comes with nutrition, S&C program, quality rugby exposure, analysis work, growing their understanding of how to analyse games, media development, everything around these top 40 players to give them the best chance to perform at the next World Cup. And specific skills coaching, to have a proper scrum coach on island would really help, delivering quality front row sessions to our props and hookers, a quality kicking coach that oversees our players alongside our hooker throwing. These skill sets and mastering our craft is really important. So that's a little snapshot and a bit of feedback from myself. If you saw the game against Canada yesterday, the biggest thing that we saw was just the physicality and the intensity and the speed that Canada play at. And the biggest word was pressure. Our players felt immense pressure, which they hadn't experienced before. Therefore, you get less time on the ball. You have to think faster, and also read cues and opportunities a lot faster as well. So anyway, I hope you have a great week, and I hope this finds you well. And I hope to catch up with everyone soon. Vinaka, thank you.
Vinaka, give him a big round of applause.